What is good, Bleed Green TV family? We back with another podcast, guys, and it's been a little bit, right? We took a couple of weeks off, but we're back. We're full swing. We're here. We got you guys covered, man. I was sick last week. It was a struggle bus to get this out, but we're here. And we got some interesting things to talk about, Ricky. The Celtics have been, I feel like, just inconsistent. However, we're still 38-12. We still look amazing, but since we're not undefeated at home anymore, people are starting to panic like, okay, what's going on? You get, killed by the Clippers, right? That game was terrible for us in terms of we couldn't get points. Then you come back, play the Lakers, no LeBron, no AD, got killed, smacked. Austin Reeves. I think we lost to the Nuggets. That was the first game that kind of swung us into a downward spiral at home anyway. And then yesterday there was that first quarter versus the Grizzlies where I was like, listen, what is going on? They're missing 13 players and they're still close, and then we ultimately end up destroying them. But I don't know. Quickly, are you concerned at all? I'm still not, but just to keep everyone else updated, should we be concerned? Are you concerned? I do have some issues we'll talk about in a second, but what are your first thoughts, initial reactions over the past maybe 10 games or so? We're 7-3.
I mean, they're not playing well. I mean, let's not mince anything. They're not. It's a long season. I feel like I got to put $1 in the jar every time I say this. It's so fucking obvious. Obviously, there's a lot of games to play. I'll say this. If we're going to be slumping, now's the time to slump, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if they're going to struggle over the next, let's say, 15, 14 games, and let's get this out the way. If they're struggling over the course of the next 14, 15 games, they're still winning 10 of those games. So it's not going to be like, oh, they've lost, 10 of their last 15. No, that's not what this is going to be. They're struggling, certainly. They're so much more talented than everybody else that I feel like they're going to win a vast majority of the games, even when they're not playing well, i.e. the other night against the Grizzlies, where clearly struggling, clearly way more talented than everybody else, so they're still blowing them out of the water. And then you have a game like, a sneaky game like the Lakers, where let's just call it what it is. They didn't show up. They didn't show up to play. They thought it was going to be automatic. You had the two stars out, and there was no buy-in. My problem isn't with the roster. My problem's with Joe. That's my problem. I think Joe is a mid-tier coach. I've had my concerns with Joe. I've been on here expressing my concerns with Joe. And now that we have, I call it a whole season and a half, a decent sample size of Joe is average. He's not special. He's not dynamic. He's not anything worth bragging about, to be honest. The coaching staff does not match the caliber of the team. And we can get into Tatum and Brown and their lack of ability to be versatile. But I honestly think it's what Joe wants. I think Joe wants us to shoot 43s a game. I think Joe wants you to live and die by the three. And I think it's wrong. I don't think they're prioritizing defense. I don't think they're prioritizing versatility. Why do you have one of the best post-game players in Kristaps Porzingis? You have no Anthony Davis the other night, and you don't put him in the post. Make it make sense to me, Joe. He's not willing to adapt. He's not willing to change. He's an absolute pest post-game. You would think somebody's insulting his integrity or talking bad about his family, the way he answers people. He feels like he doesn't owe you anything, like he's won 6 championships. Yeah. I got news flash for Joe Mazzulla. He owes us everything. This whole thing is depending on whether they can win a championship or not. It's a failure if they don't win a championship this year. An absolute failure.
So would you say, let's just say we go out and we win the championship this year, but we don't change anything. We play this style of basketball from here to the championship and we win it. Would you be more like, okay, Joe, maybe I was a little bit wrong, maybe blah, blah, blah. Would you care a little bit less about the style?
because I think it's statistically, honestly, Fobbs, it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it's how I feel. I feel like the luck was just on our side that day, because when you're talking about averages and statistics, there is factors in there that go beyond. And I hate statistic nerd talk, but we're going to go into this real quick, right? If you're talking about, how much threes you're shooting, the percentage of those threes. Look, if the Celtics shoot from 55% from three for the entirety of the playoffs, we're winning the championship.
Yeah.
Is that going to
If you
happen?
even shoot 40% from three, we're in the championship.
If you are going to bank on that 4 out of 7 games, that is luck. I don't care what anybody tells you. You cannot expect guys to shoot at a high level. I understand this is the profession, but this is also pro defenses, guys that come up with schemes. A top tier coach, he's going to strategize for this. A team that knows how to guard the 3 ball, they're going to strategize for this. They're going to make you take tough shots, Fubs.
Yeah.
So can they make the tough shots? Of course they can. Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, even Drew Holiday, all capable of taking tough threes. Even Al Horford, all make tough threes, have made them throughout the entirety of their career. They can make them. You've seen them make them, but is that a sustainable model? My problem isn't with hitting the threes when they're falling. It's getting away from it when it's not working. There is he has no ability to make adjustments. He doesn't want to make adjustments. He doesn't care about making adjustments. He thinks you're stupid. If you ask him why he didn't make adjustments, it blows my mind. As long as I've been a fan, I'm 33 years old, Fubs, and I've been a fan for my entire life. I've been a Boston Celtics fan. I have never seen a guy so defensive and hell-bent on shooting threes. He cares more about shooting threes than any other coach I've ever seen. And he doesn't deny it either. I give him credit. He expresses his love for the analytics and expresses his love for the statistics. And I'm okay with that. If your plan A is that, and you have this type of team, fine. But you don't have a plan B. And it's very obvious you don't have a plan B. So if the Celtics don't make it this year, I'm not going to blame solely Joe Mazzulla, because I'm sure there'll be factors like, Tatum and Brown didn't play particularly well, because that's how that's going to unfold. But, if this team doesn't win, it's going to be because of the game plan. It's just automatic how it gets executed and how we highlight it and what we show. Yeah, that's something. But, I don't know. You can't tell me that Denver doesn't worry you in a 7-game series when maybe what's going to be the decision maker is whether you can get off of this game plan. I mean, are we going to be down 3-2 before they decide to pivot and change strategy, and then it's too late? They did last year against the Miami Heat. They pivoted and started to win games. You know what I mean? So I just think that Joe is,
he doesn't like to make adjustments. He doesn't like to be wrong.
I just think he's not ready. I think ultimately that's what it is. I think maybe he could be a great coach someday. I think he's got the balls to be a good coach. I think he's got the knowledge. He's obviously very intelligent. He's obviously a very smart guy. He's got great basketball knowledge. But I feel like maybe he was put in this position too soon, probably because Jason Tatum loves him. And so now we're in this situation where we're looking at this team. And this is my only concern, by the way. I'm not hitting no panic button. People in the comment section are going to be saying I'm panicking, that I'm overreacting, whatever. I'm not. This is still my pick. We're still winning a championship this year. I would bet on it if I was a gambling man, but I'm not. So, but I would bet on it if I could, or if I would, whatever. So I'm not jumping ship. I'm just saying, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a team that has all the talent in the world, should be blowing teams out. And we are, for the most part. I mean, what are we, 4 games up?
We're 5 games above Milwaukee right now. 5 games.
Okay, so if you're telling me we're struggling and we're still 5 games ahead of everybody else, I'd say that's not a bad problem to have. Yeah. If we're going to struggle, let's struggle now before the break, and hopefully kind of fix whatever lulls we have, come back from the break, maybe have a couple of games, and then I want to see them slapping the last 20 games of the season.
I think that's doable. And the one thing
62 to 82, I want clicking on all cylinders. If we're struggling on game 75, I mean, I'm going to be nervous then. That's when I'll start being nervous.
This is the one thing I'll say about Joe. The only thing I criticize, I like Joe. I like him a lot. And I understand he wants to shoot the 3 ball. This team, when you look at the roster-wise, they are built to shoot threes. I mean, there's not one guy in our lineup that can't hit a 3. And when you look at, that percentage that you want a guy to be able to hit threes, it's about 37%. Because right now in the NBA, the Celtics are shooting about 38% from 3. And that's top 5 in the NBA in 3-point percentage. So if you have 6, 7, maybe even 8 of these guys shooting amazing, right? There's 2 guys on the team, Porzingis and Jaylen Brown. Those are the only 2 guys out of our 8 players shooting 35% or lower. Everyone else 37, 39, 42, 41, 40, 37. Like, all these guys are really good shooters. So I don't hate the fact that we're taking these threes. And you know what? I'm going to be quite honest with you. A lot of the threes that we take are open. They're just not falling. So I like the shots. I like the plays that we're running to get guys open. I think the ball movement is amazing. But this is where I'll come back to what you said. The adjustments. There's no adjustments. We were taking on the Nuggets in that game, and once Jokic got out, they didn't have a big man that was going to guard the paint, but we didn't change anything. Like, we took on the Grizzlies last night, right? They had no big man. They had Trey Jamison. If you know who that is, shout out to you. But listen, I don't know who that is. Can he guard the rim? I don't know. Maybe. Let's find out. Let's put Porzingis in the paint. Let's get him some easy buckets. I want to see us just take advantage. When the backup big comes in, can we just take advantage of that instead of taking the threes, right? But listen, the 3-ball game, Ricky, I'm okay with it, right? If you look at the NBA teams right now, if you said the Celtics are taking this many threes, which is the most in the NBA, I'm fine with that because this team is strictly built to shoot threes. Brad Stevens said, okay, Joe, if you want to shoot threes, I'll give you the best three-point shooters in the game. Make it work. So I think Joe has every opportunity to make this team work.
It's not a foolproof system though, Fubs, because that's one part of the game that kind of ebbs and flows. Even Curry has an off night. If Steph Curry got an off night shooting, then everybody else got an off night shooting because that dude was almost as automatic as it comes. So it's not foolproof. In the same way, almost no strategy is. Yeah. But as far as strategies go, this is the least foolproof strategy. If you were saying like, hey, we want to play hard defense, we want to hold guys to 110 points, and we want to just outscore them, that is a more sustainable strategy than let's just chuck threes, because if we score 130 points a night and average 46% from three, we're gonna blow people out of the gym. It's like, sure, you could maybe do that 60 times a night at the absolute most if you're the Boston Celtics. So, and that's the Boston Celtics. Not everyone has that kind of talent. So my issue is really this. It's just not being able to adjust and change and adapt. The one thing I'll give them credit for this year, they weren't doing last year, you've said this before, is just their ability to not give up. They're fighting their way through games. When there's adversity, they're fighting. Last year, this team wouldn't do any of those things.
Yeah, that Pelicans game was a big one. We were down, and then we shot back up and won a close one at the end.
So they're fighting, and they're playing hard, and they want to win games. Tatum cares. Brown cares. These guys are obviously cares. They care. They're bought in. Joe Mazzulla has the locker room. I'm not going to crap on Joe saying he's not a locker room. He's clearly a pro player coach. Clearly, right? Players like him. Players seem to respect him. So that's great. All good. But can we just have a plan B? I mean, I feel like that's not asking for a lot here. I mean, can we just when the 3 ball's not coming, can we buckle down on defense and get Porzingis in the post? Can that be the plan B? Because that sounds like a good idea to me. Maybe
we have so many guys that can score at the paint.
Maybe Tatum just take it to the rim a couple of times, get some easy twos, and then open up. Yeah, or JB. Yeah, just keep them going right, you know?
Yeah, so, we have so many different options to score. I feel like we just don't utilize those enough as we potentially could. But, Ricky, real quickly, I want to talk about some other NBA news just to get caught up with, how the rest of the East is looking. Before we do that, though, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. Helps out the podcast so much to get it out to more, Celtics fans around the world. But also subscribe if you're new. It is free. It doesn't cost anything. And you're going to have unlimited Celtics content from here for the rest of your life. All right, so join the family, subscribe if you're new, and also comment down below saying more podcasts if you guys want to continue to see these podcasts come out for you guys. But Ricky, the first thing I want to talk about, probably the biggest news in the NBA right now, Joel Embiid. He's gonna miss the next 1-2 months, a displaced meniscus. It sucks to see because I love that battle, Boston, Philly. It's always something that's so fun to watch. But it does make the Celtics run potentially a little bit more easy if we don't have to see him in or fully healthy in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. I hate it, man. I hate it. I don't like doing it this way. I really don't.
So I don't. Good,
yeah, he's so good. Incredible season. Potential MVP. My MVP so far. I think that he's special, and I think that I hate that. This is kind of how, because their season's over. I'm going to be very frank about this.
So 1 to 2 months, he'll be back for the playoffs. But they just
my problem isn't with that. He's a known guy for being, his conditioning is garbage. So my issue is now you got to be top peak form coming off of an injury when you've been doing just practical activity to get back into game shape. He's going to be out of shape. He's not going to be up to snuff of this, and they're going to get blown out of this thing. By the time he's like up to speed, the series is going to be over. Yeah. So my issue with that is, and that's tragic because I would, as much as I crap on Philly, it's one of the teams, Phillies, the Knicks, the Lakers, can't stand y'all. But I do still love the players, and I don't like seeing, just like when you see KD get hurt in the finals versus the Toronto Raptors, you hate seeing it because it's just, you want to see guys play basketball, the best guys play. That's what you want. It doesn't matter if your team is going to win now because of it. It's something as a fan of the game, I never celebrate, and I think it's terrible. I saw the injury look nasty. It sucks. It's definitely nothing I want to see. And I'm not an Embiid fanboy, or I don't even really care for him. But, at the end of the day, he's a fantastic player. He's a great baller. He's a unicorn in the way he's built, in the way he plays. He's kind of, the way Jokic is in the West, it's Embiid in the East. You know what I mean? The way he plays, he's so dynamic. And so, I didn't really have them as a favorite to go on. I didn't think they had enough this year. They need to build around Maxey and make Embiid more of the. I don't want. He's like the Robin to his Batman, I guess. They could be 1A, 1B, but I think Maxey. I think Maxey's really the guy they need to build around. They got to add one more really good 3-and-D guy to add to the mix, and I think they're right in the conversation. To maybe add a couple more depth piece. I think a couple of their guys might develop and be better players, but Maxey's really the guy. Yeah. When I look at that team, I think Maxey's good. And that's the only reason why they would have a chance. But I honestly think they need Embiid to win a championship. There's no winning a championship for the Sixers without Embiid. Yeah. And if Embiid is not fully ready to go come postseason, which I just don't see how he is, because he's such a slow guy that ramps up very slowly into the season.
They could make a trade for a guy like Vucevic and help maintain them as a top 5 seed, maybe.
But but you're really messing with the continuity, I feel like, of the team, unless he's coming off the bench. I don't know what that's going to do with the team long term when Embiid comes back. I get what you're saying. It's like it keeps him in the seat, because what's going to end up happening is they're going to slip, and they're going to play a team like they're going to play Milwaukee in the first and Giannis is just going to put his thing all over him, and he's not going to know what to do. You know what I mean?
Worst case scenario, Ricky, is they play us first round. And then we have to deal with Embiid, which I know you're not worried about him, but you never know. What if Embiid?
I don't know, dude. I guess.
Let me ask you this. Okay, you got Celtics 1 seed, right? Your choice. Miami Heat, 76ers, fully. We'll say 90% Embiid. Who you want first round? Because
I want Miami. I want Miami in 4, baby. I want blood. I'm so sick and tired. I gotta live down here in Florida, listen to these guys talk shit. I want Miami. I want them gone in 4 games. Dude, that's what I want. But that's selfish.
An interesting series though. T-Row back over there. He's got a little bit maybe animosity. He might not have animosity.
He might, but I don't. Listen, you talking about Scary T?
Yeah, Scary Terry.
I love Terry. I loved him when he was here. But nah, dude. No, that team struck lightning in a bottle last year. Unless Bam is turning the clock back a little bit.
Good guys, man.
Yeah, I know.
Hero.
Maybe they probably won't sweep them because Spo is Spo. But let's be honest. Boston in 6. Come on. I know I'm repeating this, but dude, let's not pretend like a 1 beating an 8 seed is some sort of commonality. Most of the time,
didn't it?
It did happen last year, but let's not act like it happens all the time. We become creatures of habit in the moment. We're just so amped about this thing that just happened.
Yeah,
of course it can happen. Any given series, a team could knock out a better team, of course, but you don't think Boston's going to be yo, do you guys remember what they did to us last year? Made us look like a bunch of bitches.
And that's what they had the year before that.
Right. Are we gonna let them punk us again in the Garden where we lost 5 games all season? We're gonna let them beat us in the Garden? Fuck no. I just don't see it happening. I just think that whatever entitlement they thought they had over Miami last year when they thought they were just gonna come in and steamroll them is gone. I feel like Boston now wants blood when Miami comes to town and they want to kill him. So I just think it'll carry over. If Miami beat Boston in round 1, that'd probably be the greatest embarrassment to Boston
Joe would
sports.
get fired, I think. Joe would get fired.
Oh, he'd have to be fired. He'd have to be fired. So,
but
yeah.
Another thing we could talk about, Ricky, is the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks are 5-5 in the last 10 games. Their defense is not it. They're allowing about 120 points per game, which is about one of the worst in the Eastern Conference. You have Orlando only averaging 100 or only allowing 110, Miami allowing 111. Milwaukee's defense is really, really bad this year, but we still put them on that, that pedestal where they're like one of the best teams. And obviously, when you have Dame and you have Giannis and you have Brook and you have Bobby Portis, you have Chris Middleton, a bunch of guys, right? Is this team still that team that you're worried about the most, or is it a team like Cleveland who is now 9-1, getting fully healthy, or is it a team like the Knicks who add OG Anunoby and now they're 9-1 in their last 10 games? Who are you still nervous about the most?
I mean, if I'm picking about who I'm nervous about the most, is honestly the Knicks. I just feel like they're such matchup nightmares for us. Milwaukee, I feel like. I feel like they've messed up when they fired their coach. I mean, I just like
Doc Rivers. You don't like Doc Rivers over there?
No, I know. Well, I mean, I like him for us. I mean, if we have if they have a 3-2 lead on us, you know what's about to happen, right? so. Yeah, of course I love Doc. He brought a championship to Boston. Yeah. I got love for Doc, but I don't. I think they messed up. I think that was your best player pushing the coach out of. How are you going to tell me you're the second seed in the East and you get fired?
As a rookie head coach, like what more do you expect?
Okay, so, and I don't know how true this is, but I read that he said some shit about Giannis's brother about how he's ass and he doesn't, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if he says this thing exactly, but
that's what I
essentially that he's mid and that he shouldn't be in the league. And which I would say facts. Because if you've seen him play, the only reason why he's on that team is because his brother's Giannis. Because other than that, he should be playing for their G League affiliate or whatever. Because he sucks. Well, he doesn't suck. Who am I? But he's not very good in comparison to maybe some other guys that deserve a shot. Let's just say that. Yeah. So I'm no disagreement with me on that. So, I think he got pushed out because Giannis was like, "Get this guy out of here. I don't like him." Is essentially what happened. To which I would say, dude, what are you doing? You probably just put yourself in a worse predicament since that moment. And I feel like they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot right now. Whatever chance I thought they had, it's gone. I know they're not putting an emphasis on defense. What is Doc Rivers gonna do for you?
I mean, the biggest thing is they spent 50 games, Ricky, building that chemistry up with that coach, Adrian Griffin, I think his name was. And now they have to learn a whole new system, not only offensively, but defensively under Doc. Everything has to refresh, and that takes time. Clearly, they're 5-5 in the last 10 games, and they're struggling. They lost last night to the Utah Jazz, got killed, I think 123 to 103 or something like that. But listen, now it's going to take them 20, 30 games to get fully into rhythm, and who knows? Maybe that leads them right into the playoffs where they're hot, right? Who knows? But you think the Knicks? I think the Knicks are really good too, right? OG Anunoby fits in perfectly like a glove, a 3-and-D wing who could do pretty much anything for you. He'd be a perfect fit on any team in the NBA. Jalen Brunson's playing like an MVP caliber type of player like right now. You still got, Julius Randle, and they have a really good team over there. I'm gonna give them that. But other than the Bucks, and I do want to give a little bit credit to the Cavaliers. I don't think they'll beat us, but I think they're a very unique team.
They're fun. They're
Garland,
fun. They're a lot of fun.
They have guys, right? They have those guys. Jared Allen, Mobley.
They're what we were in our. Speaking of Terry Rozier, our Scary T days. No Kyrie. You got Scary T, Young JT, and Young JB. Al. And a bunch of other guys that we had on that team. And what we do? We took the Cavs to 7 in the ECF. I feel like that's a very reminiscent, fun, tons of potential, tons of upside, young talent. Donovan Mitchell, dog. I take him on my team 7 days a week. Doesn't
Garland.
matter. I don't. Yeah, I like
Max
Garland a lot.
Strus, you got Evan
Yeah, I like
Mobley,
Matt.
Jared Allen.
Max,
You got,
a guy that probably should have stayed in Miami.
Yep. Who's the guy that comes off the bench? Karis LeVert. He's a scorer.
Love Karis.
This
Loved
team
him
is
in
loaded.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Karis LeVert was a dog in Brooklyn, and then where'd he go to Indiana?
Yeah,
He's been a couple places. He did Indiana, then he went to.
and then
For a guy
Cleveland.
so good, they keep trading him. It makes no
Yeah.
sense. I take him on our team
Yep.
any day of the week too. I love Karis LeVert.
Yeah. So the Cavs.
Yeah.
Cavs.
Yeah,
are
no,
scary,
fun
man.
team. Fun team. I just don't think they stack up.
They're the
I think
best
ultimately.
defensive team in the East right now in terms of points allowed per game, right up there with the Knicks. So
Yeah, I just don't think they stack up fully with us. The Knicks, I feel like, give us matchup fits. Now, Emmanuel Quickley's no longer there, and that was our biggest matchup fit. I feel like whenever Emmanuel came onto the court, I felt like we were just all out of sorts. He would come in, he'd take the ball to the rim. It's surprising what you can do from a production standpoint when you take the ball to the rim. Take notes, Joe Mazzulla. And so I feel like that was a big part of their game for us. So we haven't played them since the trade, right?
no, we play them soon though.
Yeah, we do. So I'm interested to see what that looks like
Play them in like a week.
with no Emmanuel Quickly to kind of come in and shake things up. Because anytime they needed a spark, he went out there and he got him one.
Yeah.
So it was always a problem for us guarding this dude. For a guy who's just, I'm not saying he's average. He's great. I I take him on my team.
Yeah.
But it seems like every time you play us, he'd score 25. So it's
Yeah.
like, he's
Now
not
they-
averaging that.
They don't have RJ Barrett either, so they have two guys out, one guy really into the rotation. I believe maybe Precious.
I love
Achiuwa's
OG.
also in
I
there.
love OG Anunoby. He's
Yeah,
a great
so
player. But
they're-
I don't know. I don't know what the continuity is going to be, what the chemistry is going to be.
Yeah.
So let's see. But as currently what I've seen from matchups, guys we played, it just seems like the Knicks give us the biggest issue
Okay.
with our
That's
matchups.
Fair. That's fair.
So
we are 4-0
therefore-
against Knicks this year.
I know, but they've been so close every
I know.
time. It's
And
like
they have a new
it's
team,
like
so we can't even
Yeah.
take that into consideration.
I understand, but it's a possession. It's like a possession or two away from being flipped. I think maybe one game we won handily. I think the other three it was like very
Yeah.
close. The opener was. You remember the opener?
The opening
Against the
was
Knicks when
it was. Yeah.
Went overtime.
Overtime,
It was a whole
yep.
thing. Yeah, and we almost lost. I thought we were gonna lose that game, and it was. I forget something happened, and I don't know.
I
Let's
forget
not
too, but-
let's not do a shitty recap right now. But I remember specifically it was like I thought we should have lost that game. We ended up winning it. I do remember
Yeah.
that. So.
And you know what? This
Um,
can all change, Ricky, because the trade deadline's on Thursday. So if Milwaukee goes out and adds Marcus Smart, right? If Philadelphia adds a Vucevic, or if hell the Knicks add a guy like Marcus Smart, it could change everything, right? So we will go over this situation, the biggest contender or the biggest threat to the Celtics in a couple of days from now. But with the trade deadline being right around the corner, a couple of days from now, I want to talk about some guys that I've been hearing, Celtics fans want, and some rumors that we could be getting. The first one, and I heard it a lot yesterday when we were playing the Grizzlies, one guy that Celtics fans are enamored with right now, Andre Drummond, and I hate it. I don't want Andre Drummond on this team. I really don't. I feel like
We're not gonna use them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He would not
We're not
play in the
gonna use him.
playoffs. He's
We're
not
not gonna use
versatile. He's not shooting threes. I don't think it makes sense. But people are
Not gonna use
saying,
them.
and what I will agree with is our rebounding is terrible. If you watch that Grizzlies game, we gave up 12 offensive rebounds to nobodies in the first quarter. 12.
I'm not against the idea, because I think he's better than whatever else you got coming behind Allen Porzingis.
I know how you feel about Luke Cornett.
We know, but I just don't think we'll use him.
Yeah, I don't think.
I just don't think we'll use them. I think that's really, all it comes down to. I believe, and I know he just signed with a team or was let go and then brought back by another team. But it was Daniel. I'm sorry. I'm pivoting.
Okay.
Daniel Tice was a name that I saw, and I know people are like, oh, Daniel Tice. Like, listen, that is what you're getting. Daniel Tice, Mike Muscala, Andre Drummond, like guys that are not special, 8th guy in your rotation because your team is stacked.
So
your team is stacked. You're not gonna go get a Vucevic, for example, right? We've name dropped that. Can't afford him. You don't have minutes for a Vucevic. What minutes is he gonna play? Whose minutes is he playing?
Unless we have an injury, but
Right. Unless you're going to play the game of like, all right, Kristaps, let's take some minutes. We'll give it to Vucevic. We'll maneuver just so you're ready for the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. But that's not going to happen because Vucevic isn't going to be invested to take that kind of role. He's going to want to play a bigger role on the team. He's not going to be down for that. So you got to get buy-in too. And you can't mess up with the chemistry. The chemistry, whether you want to believe it or not, seems to be good in Boston. Guys like playing with each other. You know, Jalen, the surprise of this all has been Porzingis and Jaylen Brown. Really seems like they really enjoy playing with one another. Seems like there's special chemistry between the two of them. They're boys now, which is great.
Yeah, and you can see the difference. When Porzingis is on the floor, the Celtics are 10 times better, man. He is the X factor. But
he is.
Okay, so Noah Drummond, another guy on our list, a former Celtic, a former big man Celtic, over there playing with Danny Ainge. You have any idea who I'm about to say? Kelly Olynyk.
The clinic.
How do you feel about Kelly Olynyk? Can shoot the three ball. Not the best rebounder, but he's more of that Daniel Tice, Mike Muscala role. Maybe a little bit better than Mike Muscala.
I like it better than Luke Cornett.
I like it a lot better than Drummond, to be honest. And yeah, obviously Luke Cornett is not the greatest fit. He's not terrible, but I feel like Olynyk would be good.
Look, here's the reality, Fubs. If this team is healthy, the rotation is the following. Your starting five, we know who they are. Plus Peyton Pritchard, plus Al Horford, plus Sam Hauser. That's it.
Yeah.
Those are your 8 guys playing basketball.
No, yeah. I mean, the fact that unless we go and trade for an Alex Caruso, then that changes things because we'll probably get rid of Pritchard, bring in Caruso. But even then, I don't even think we do.
Right. No, I totally, I don't think they'll do that either. I agree with what you're saying. But my point being that if you're getting somebody substantial, you're going to have one of those guys has to go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree. I do think Olynyk. Now,
so, like, you got to trade an Al Horford, or you got to trade a Peyton Pritchard, or you got to trade a Hauser
for someone to get minutes.
For you to bring in somebody who's now going to be part of an 8-man rotation, which is probably pretty generous as you get deeper into the playoffs. Yeah. Because this is what we need to talk about right now, because this is kind of the only reason why you'd want to make a trade is either A, to relieve guys in the home stretch here, which is fine, but then you're only getting
what it is. I think that's what it is.
Then you're getting Mike Muscala, or you're getting Andre Drummond, or you're getting Kelly Olynyk.
What do you need to say? Kelly Olynyk. I think that's.
I don't mind Kelly Olynyk. I think that's fine. My reasoning for thinking Kelly Olynyk over Andre Drummond is he just fits the protocol a little bit more, and he's not playing in the playoffs anyway, so whatever.
Yep. Another name that I'm hearing, and I'm under the impression, or I'm in the boat of, we need a big. I don't want a wing. We don't need a wing, I should say. We don't need a guard. But another guy that's been, Boston fans and the media want the Celtics to get, DeLon Wright. He's a lengthy guard, can shoot a little bit, is a really good passer. Kind of like Delano Banton, but better. Okay, he's more advanced. He's a veteran. You know what I mean? A veteran. So he could be interesting, but it's like,
what would that cost you?
I don't know. Like at this point, I don't know his stats. I'll look him up right now. But would you take a DeLon Wright over a Peyton Pritchard? Would you make that trade? I don't think so. Let me look at the stats. Let me see what he's shooting from 3. Because if he's shooting 40% from 3, then I'm like, okay, I might think about it. So he is shooting 37.1% from 3. So it's not too much of an upgrade shooting the 3-ball wise. But I don't know. He's 6'5". I don't know.
Pritchard is 7.8 points a game, 42% field goal percentage. I don't see where the 3 is.
I think his 3 was 36.7, I think, if I remember correctly.
36 point. Yeah, you're close. 36.8.
36.8. So it's like, right. I don't think I make that jump. If I'm bringing in DeLon Wright, I'm not giving up Peyton Pritchard. And still, you're probably not playing. He's not playing too much, right? I don't think he's worth it.
Does he add? I mean, I feel like Peyton Pritchard is not a defensive liability in the position that he's in.
He's really not.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're adding defense to get him, I would say maybe, but it doesn't. Peyton Pritchard's not a defensive liability in that sense, and I agree. I don't see the need.
Yeah. So,
plus, what are you doing in continuity? What are you doing in chemistry? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't know if Peyton Pritchard's like this beloved guy with this team, but I mean, there's nothing bad that anyone's saying. People don't seem to mind that when people, there's nothing negative. There's no slight on Peyton Pritchard unless you're Drake, So,
okay. So we talked about Wright and Pritchard. You'd rather have Pritchard over White. I agree. Would you rather have Alec Burks over Peyton Pritchard? Does he make that jump up? Does he push the tempo? Because he is a good defender. He is a good shooter, and he can handle the ball very, very well. Again, I'll look up his stats to see what he's doing this season.
Yeah.
So Alec Burks is currently shooting 39.2% from the three-point line. So that is definitely an upgrade over what Peyton Pritchard is doing, and he's shooting 6 threes a game as well. So I mean, he's averaging 12.3 points per game.
What's his minutes per game?
20 minutes and 12 points per game in 20 minutes is pretty damn
okay.
good.
So his efficiency is much greater than Peyton, as he's also getting, it's hard to believe, 20.9 minutes per game on the season and getting 7.8 points on average. So
wait, Peyton's averaging 20 minutes a game? 20.9, you said?
According to this, 20.9 this season,
Yeah,
in 50
so
games
Alec
played.
Burks is 20.8. So they'd be literally swapping minutes exactly
Right.
to a T.
Swapping minutes. And what was his 3-point percentage?
39.2. And last year, 41. The year for that, 40, 41, 41.
It's a decent amount. I mean, 39.2 ironically is Peyton Pritchard's career 3-point percentage, so he's got that upside to do that. Obviously shooting a little bit under that this year, 36.8. Obviously he's had some god-awful games where he just can't hit the broadside of a barn, but he's had some great games where he's giving you something, and obviously I like him as a player. But yeah, fine, whatever. I mean, if you're getting this defensive guy and you're gonna play him, is that a one-to-one trade though, Fubs? I gotta be honest, I'm not the most well-versed guy on Alex. I'm not.
It's probably not I think we would have to give up something else. Maybe like a pick, 2 seconds. I don't know, but I'm looking at the stats, and I know it doesn't come down.
If it's gonna cost you 2 seconds, what do I care?
Like, I might do it. Even a late first, I might do it, because what are we gonna do with the late first over the next 3 years? Nothing. It's win championships or we're done. Like, we're not gonna sit down and develop a first round pick for 3 seasons.
Or maybe give them something at a main.
Yeah, like
that they can develop. Look what Aaron Nesmith did for Indiana. You never know.
So
you might throw I don't know, whoever, doesn't matter. Throw Svi, throw Banton. What doesn't matter. Just if you can throw a piece in there, maybe it smooths over the deal, then do it. Or if you're gonna give up a second or 2 seconds or a late first, fine, whatever.
So what boat are you under? I would do it. Would you take Burks over Pritchard? That's what we're looking at alone. Obviously, you don't know what the
How
trade
tall
would
is
be.
Burks?
6'5".
Yeah, I do it.
I do it. I think I would too. Looking at those stats, I think I would do it. Okay.
If all I'm giving up is Peyton and Pricks or Peyton and some
if the only
main
starter
prospect,
we're giving up is Peyton Pritchard. Let's just say that only
not even a starter.
Not starter. Main rotation piece is Peyton Pritchard.
Right.
Peyton Pritchard. And
yeah, I do that deal.
Picks. I think I would too.
I do that deal. Mainly because I think as defense should be an emphasis, and not that I think that Peyton Pritchard is a defensive liability, obviously. But if you're getting a bigger, taller guy
who can shoot better from 3, more consistent. I mean, shot 40% or better over the last 4 years. This year's at 39. So I mean,
question is can he be a primary ball handler when Holiday's on the bench?
I think he can. That's what he does over in Detroit. He's the main ball handler when he's on the floor.
Then
so
I'm in.
I think he could be good. Okay,
I'm in.
Another guy here is interesting. I wouldn't do this one, but it would be interesting. Like I said, Saddiq Bey. He's a wing. He's not going to be someone who can come in and handle the ball too much, but he's a defender that can shoot threes. He's a lot worse of an OG and an Obi, but he's there. Now I will say this, Ricky. This season in 48 games, he's averaging 12.9 points in 32 minutes. So he's averaging basically the same points, but way less minutes than Alex Burks. He's also shooting 30% from 3. A lot worse of a 3-point shooter this season. But last year, shot 40% with Atlanta in 25 games from 3.
So I guess my question is what would he have to get up to? I like Saddiq coming out of the draft.
I don't know.
And so I'm high on Saddiq Bey, more out of bias than anything else. But my issue is I don't want to give up a backup ball handler for somebody who's not going to be a primary ball handler.
Let's just compare what his role would be with us. So would you take Saddiq Bey over Sam Hauser? I think I'm in a no.
I'm a no. only because it doesn't fit the schematic of the team. Now, if you want to get cute, how tall is Sadiq again? He's 6'7",
Sadiq Bey
6'8",
6'7".
6'7". Okay, so I mean, he could fit a different dynamic on the team. I'm not opposed to them adding a 9th player in theory. If you gave up like a couple of young pieces,
he would cost more than Alex Burks for sure.
Younger, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, how much you like Jordan Walsh in picks?
Yeah, I depends. If we can keep Sam and keep Pritchard, then maybe I would do it. The only thing I'm nervous about.
That's what I'm saying. Jordan Walsh in a first. Would you do that deal?
Jordan Walsh in a first, I would do it. Yes.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
The only thing that concerns me about
is
his 3-point shooting is really low this year. Do you see Joe wanting a guy who's shooting 30% this year? Like, we need someone shooting 37 or better. That would fit our system.
Yeah.
I don't
really see him fit. I don't really see is there rumors that he's coming here? I haven't seen
these are all rumors. These are all in the Celtics media putting out 3 guys that we should trade for and rumored to go out and try to get. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm not opposed to. I like Sadiq Bey. I've been high on Sadiq Bey for a while. I wouldn't trade Pritchard for him because one removal doesn't fit the role that we need filled. So I don't like that from a perspective. And obviously, I'm not giving up any of my starters for him. And I wouldn't give up Hauser for him just because Hauser's shooting the ball well for the most part this season. He fits the schematic of the team. He's that sit in the corner and chuck up threes guy, and every good team needs one of those guys. You know, so he is that guy, and that's fine. He knows his role. He's good at it. But I just obviously not going to trade Al for him. Al's way too old. And Hauser would be really the only logical piece to put into that trade, but I just don't think the dynamic fits unless you're giving up outside assets and adding him as like the 9th player in the rotation and then rotating him in with when JB comes out, Sadiq goes in. Like he's JB's replacement on the bench in the rotation. Sure. But then where the minutes then the question is who's sacrificing minutes? Who's going to have to not play that game because Sadiq Bey got traded there? You see what I'm saying? So it's adding, now you're going to take Peyton's minutes. Peyton's going to get pissed off, blah, blah, blah. What are you messing with? So
I don't think I would take Sadiq.
Out of all those, Alex is the only one I really like.
Yeah. There's still a couple more. One more that I really want to talk about. Isaiah Stewart. This guy is an enforcer. He can block some shots. He can shoot the 3 ball. And he's someone that doesn't need a lot of minutes. And I don't think he would want a lot of minutes. Now, this season, he's 6'8", 22 years old. Kind of has that small ball center look. But is still, he averaged 1.3 blocks his first season. 1.1 his second season. But this year, averaging 11 points a game. Shooting 37% from 3. Right, 37% from 3, 6.8 rebounds. He would help our rebounding. He fits our system in terms of 3-point shooting, and he doesn't need too many minutes per game. I don't think he has that. He doesn't come off as that big ego type of guy. So I think
like
he would be a great fit.
I agree with you, Fubs. I think this is actually the best name you've given me all night. But the question is does he fit with Brad? Does he fit with Joe Mazzulla's? I know he can shoot it, but. Does that fit his ideology for the team? You'd probably get him for very little at this point. I feel like this is where we'd have to give up that Jordan Walsh, that JD Davidson, that was a first-round pick in there as well. But he's still young. He's only 22. He's young. He's got plenty of time. He's the right size. The guy, this kind of guy, 6'8". That's what he's listed as. You could definitely
too. He really wants to win.
I like it.
I think if I am saying there's 2 guys I really, really would like the Celtics to try and go get, it's Alec Burks and it's Isaiah Stewart. Now, quite frankly, they're both on the same team. So, if you can get both of them, hell, maybe. But I don't think there is I don't think this is going to be a trade deadline where we don't do anything. I think there will be a move made. I don't know who it will be, but if you told me we get Alec Burks or we get Isaiah Stewart, I think I am happy, and I think we're a better team in terms of on paper. There's some other guys, like I heard Tari Eason's name thrown out there a lot. He's a young wing. John Concar from the Memphis Grizzlies could be decent. Najee Marshall shoots like 38% from three. He could be in. There's a bunch of names, Ricky. A bunch of wings, a bunch of guards, a bunch of bigs that we could get. But if I said to you right now, even if I didn't name him, who is the one person, the one guy that you would be really, really happy that we went out and got? Anybody. Could be a starter. Obviously, probably not going to start. But
I'm so wary of this because I like the continuity and just everything as is. I know everybody's down right now because we're just not playing our best brand of basketball. But I think people need to have remember that just 4 weeks ago, I mean, this team was undefeated at home. Yeah, and it was just
we were on a killing spree.
There's nobody, and the reason why I say this, Fubs, is because like, look at the starting five. It's practically an all-star team in the statistical category. Like, there's talent all over the starting five. What am I gonna? I mean, like, I guess like if Vucevic wanted to come here and take Al Horford's spot, and you tell Al like, listen, dude, let's just play like the leader role, like play play the what's his name out of Miami. I can't believe I'm blanking on it. They just retired his number, but he hasn't played in like 5 years. Udonis Haslem, like do that thing and give a guy like Vucevic his minutes. And say, Al, we love you so much. We're gonna give you a championship. You're barely gonna have to play.
That would have to be like a buyout market thing. He would have to get bought out by the Bulls, and then we'd be able to sign him cheap.
Right. So I guess if that thing, and Vucevic is like, hell yeah, I want to win a championship. Let's go. Let's do this thing. And there was buy-in and all this stuff. Fine. Yeah. No issue there. Yeah. But that's not gonna happen. It's not reality. It's fake. And I don't really want to mess with this starting five. If
Okay, and what about bench? What about bench guy? Is there anyone you're like, let's go get?
I think the bench is fine. I mean, look, I think the biggest issue with the bench is just the shakiness of Al Horford. I love Al, but he's old, and I don't know what he's going to give you when he needs to play important minutes, because he's going to get important minutes. But, like, you're not going to get anything for him. You know what I mean? He's not worth anything. I don't even
think you should trade him. I want him here. I want him to play whatever he
well, sentimentally we do, right? Because he's just so important to the franchise. And I hear you. And I don't want to trade him either. But, like, that's really the guy backing up Porzingis is my biggest, like, well, this has to be better. Yeah. And it's Al Horford, and it's just okay. But, like...
That's why I'm like, Isaiah Stewart. Let's get him.
Sure. That's why I'm saying that makes sense to me. Like, if you want to get Isaiah Stewart for a Jordan Walsh, fine. What do I care? Jordan Walsh, okay, he's hot commodity for 3 months, and now he's been in Maine. He's balling in Maine, but like
he is balling in Maine.
A lot of guys ball in G League and they don't come here and do anything. So like, look, the guy obviously plays hard. He wants to play. He's tough player, kind of like a Mook Morris. Like kind of like a FU kind of guy, a gritty. I'm for it. Like I like that. I like that move. It seems very inexpensive. It seems the guy's edgy. He wants to win. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, I'm good with all that.
Yep. So I would be happy if we come out of here. I think we should do something, because the thing I think about is everyone is going to get better. Like Milwaukee's going to add someone. I know they are. With the way they're playing, they're going to add someone. New York, the Knicks are probably going to add something. Maybe small, but something. Cleveland, Philadelphia, they're going to try and do something. So if we do nothing, it's going to, the media will say we got worse because we didn't do anything. But us knowing who we are, I still am going to believe we're the number one team to beat, even if we do nothing. But getting another guy would make me feel that much better about where we're headed. So Alec Burks, Isaiah Stewart, comment down below a name that you guys would like to see in Boston, and give me a reason why. Don't just say Najee Marshall. Just give me a reason why he would be a good fit here in Boston. We're about to head out, Ricky, and end this episode here today. We'll also do another trade deadline episode, maybe the day of, the day after, depending on what we do. But before we catch me real quickly,
maybe catch me on a post game this week.
Yeah, post game too.
Maybe who they play Friday?
we play Atlanta on Wednesday, Washington on Friday. So
Washington,
Miami on Sunday. That's Super Bowl Sunday though. So, but
yeah,
Ricky, before we head out, real quickly, 5 games prediction, record prediction. So we got 2 home games: Atlanta, Washington. What do you think? 2 wins?
Wins. Both wins.
2 wins, and then we head Super Bowl Sunday to Miami. Second game versus T-Row in that team.
Win.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we got to win, and then we got back-to-back games: Tuesday, Wednesday, in Brooklyn, in Boston against Brooklyn. Both games.
Split? Yeah, we split. We'll win the home game.
Win the home game. Okay, so 4-1. I think I'm very similar to you. I think I'm gonna go 4-1 as well. But let's hope we can do that. Let's hope we can get right or on the right track back to winning basketball. Man, we've lost Lakers, Clippers, Denver.
You say that term loosely.
What?
You say the right track. We say that loosely. Again, guys, we're 5 games ahead of first place. So,
I just feel like the losses that we've had have been terrible. Like they're
not. They're not playing good. They're not playing good. Like let's not sugarcoat it.
We could not hit a shot to save our lives. And the Lakers game, we just looked horrible. So even if we get losses, I want to look competent. Like I want to be in the game. Right. So hopefully we can do that over the next 5 games. Comment down below your record prediction. And with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next podcast. Like I said, next podcast could be even out on Thursday night, Friday, depending on if something happens here in Boston or whatnot. But hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast, in the post-game show, whatever. See you guys soon. Peace.